660 horsepower, 1,100 Newton meters of torque. This here is the most powerful electric BMW of all time, the BMW i7 M70. This is actually what they've got. They want to tell you, this is it, this is our flagship. But what do they have? We'll find out with Thomas and Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go here with this blacked out inside front grille. You can also get this illumination around, the iconic glow. Daytime runner in the top part, main headlamp unit in the lower part, and this one here is also featuring the two-tone paint. We'll see even more about that in the side profile. 5 meters 39 or 212 inches is the length here of the i7, and this M70 version comes with a stiffer setup of the air suspension, and it also automatically comes with a rear axle steering. Rear wheels turn in the opposite direction than the front wheels, and also with an anti-tilt control that it really stays upright in the corners. These here are 21-inch wheels in this M styling, and you also have this M badge right here. This two-tone paint. Here the lower part is called liquid copper and the top part is called sapphire. I'm usually not a fan of two-tone colors, I like it more subtle, but in this case, I have to admit, it does attract attention. And should you wonder, here, this extra small stripe right here of the paint, this is not wrap. I can really feel it here with my fingernail. This is also paint, so even more work-intensive job. Even here in the rear, I think this is one of the rare cases where the two-tone paint really works and gives you something special indeed. Acceleration figure here, 3.7 seconds. That's a second quicker than the usual i7 all-wheel drive version. Of course, the figure to 1 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour, and the top speed is 250 kilometers an hour or 155 miles per hour. Turning indicators here in the front looks pretty cool in the top part, and also has this pulsing effect. And the same effect you can also see here in the rear with the turning indicators, or hazard lights in this case. Recharging, there's a nice cover here for the AC and DC port, and in optimum case you can get some 34 minutes, 10 to 80% state of charge for this 102 kilowatt hour net battery. And to our experience with the i7, recently also tested on the German Autobahn, you can score some 500 kilometers or 300 miles of the pure electric range. Of course, there is not just the electric range in this case then. Will be a little bit worse maybe in wintertime when you really take high speeds. Of course, could be better when you have more city use and so on. But let's see later on also what we will score with the top-end version today. What you can also do is use this remote parking. So when there is like a very narrow parking spot or something, you can ease the car out remotely. That's a very cool thing when you have a very narrow spot and you can't even get in and out of the vehicle or something. Here you can, by the way, see there's no one inside. Yeah, and I can just take my car for a walk here, and nice. So here with the smartphone app, I can remotely open the doors, and let's take a look. There we go. That's pretty cool, right? And there's now also a function that you don't even have to press this one, but then when you approach the vehicle, that the driver's door is opening when you have something in your hands and so on. However, you can also open the doors here with a press, but then when I stand in front of it, the sensor prevents it from being opened. Here also soft close, by the way, and then let me just try again. When I press it and I'm not standing in the way, then the door is opening. Yes, thank you so much, door. Here we have a fabric inside in the lower part, and this very trim. Bowers & Wilkins sound system, and the M70 interior comes here with the M steering wheel, contour stitches on the inside, also still with some real buttons on the steering wheel. It's at least a mix. And you also have the M entry badge here. And in this case, this is the best trim as for the seats for the M70. You have a fabric share here at least. This one is still animal skin, so an animal-free seat is not available for the M70. There you would have to go for the normal i7 then and can get the high-grade leatherette, the Veganza seats, which are actually the best seats, but these ones then would be the best configuration for this M70. Here, with 189 or 6'2", oh, sorry, Michelle. You know, when I get inside, I tend to just hit the brake, you know, because for security reasons that the vehicle won't roll and so on. I'm getting inside and I'm hitting the brake. That's what I usually do, you know. Also when I'm saying like 189, 6'2", and I still have a lot of headroom left. Because, and then that's the thing here, to close the driver's door, when you hit the brake, then you can... Now I'm not hitting Michelle with the camera. Here we go, goodbye. Interior cockpit overview, this curved screen here, 2 separate displays on it, and here this is ambient lighting bar, and this is splitting a lot of opinions. Some even say that looks cheap to me. Here there's this crystalline structure on the inside, which is nice and playful on the one hand, but maybe then again looks broken. I don't know. What's your take on that? Tell me in the comments. Of course, you can change the ambient lighting color, and it also switches according to the driving modes. Here, for example, in the sport mode, also the seats go a little bit slimmer and so on. Then you have the red here for the sporty driving. Efficient would look like this, for example. And you also have this build-up. It's always a nice effect. And when you hit the turning indicators, it also has this visualization on the inside. That is also spectacular. Other than that, you have this nice carbon fiber decor element here. And the digital instruments are clear to read. You can change the whole layout like this. Like this, and there's also a way to have the speed centraled. So if you go here, we go to the top part, there we go, then you have the speedo in the middle part. I think that's also one of my favorite settings. Of course, you can get a head-up display. I still think a manual climate knob offers a manufacturer the chance to have a haptic interface with the vehicle that you would feel premium quality, because clicking plus and minus to me doesn't feel premium, you know what I mean? But this is a general trend in the industry, general trend. Here you can also have the cooled seats and heated seats. Yeah, it just takes 2 more steps then to do that. Of course, you could also do it with voice input. Let's try that. Heated seats, please.
Okay, I will activate the seat heating for the driver.
Yeah, so that does work also with voice input if you want to talk to the vehicle. Here, map view, car internal. Then you can have this whole app view. And if you want to filter by the vehicle apps, you can go here. That you can easier, for example, go to interior lighting and so on, or also to the consumption figures. So it's a little bit overloaded, but the longer you use it, then you also get somehow used to it. Middle console here is inductive charging pad with a cooling hole as well. That's very important that it doesn't overheat. Cup holders, you slide these open. Very high build quality overall, I like that. Just too much high gloss black here, and you have this crystalline turning. You also hear it. It's a nice sound. Also the manual volume jog still. Yeah, then, but this is then hashtag capacitive BS. It does give you at least some kind of feedback. And I really like this split opening here for the middle console, more USB-C charger, and once again, nice closing sounds. Then towards the rear doors, also with the fabric inside. Here also soft touch. I would love that it's easy, like in the S-Class, when you pull this one, that the shade goes up. But no, you have to do it here in the screen. There we go, you can see it. And then you can press this one, and then here actually the shade goes up for the rear inside doors. So I think this system here is just, I feel a little bit too complicated, a little bit over-engineered, that everything also in the rear moves into the screen, even this one. By the way, that's cool. That's quite cool, right? You see the small one right there? That even covers this part. That's actually quite fancy. So first of all, in the rear seating, it's very comfortable as for the ergonomics and so on. And this is the seat as I would be driving. Still have enough legroom left. Of course, there's this long wheelbase. They just have one very version. So back in the days, you might have split between short wheelbase, long wheelbase. This is just one 7 Series to fit it all now. Here's some USB-C chargers with iPad holders in the back part of the seat. There we go. Close it. And the interesting thing is, first of all, look at these extra pills here, fabric pills. They are super nice and soft. And then, of course, important is that and I think now it's time to take off my shoes, definitely, because they are clean anyway. But you know, these high floor mats, they are actually really nice. Look at that. It's just fun to, you know, feel and hug the floor mats here. That's beautiful, high floor. And then this is then the executive seating here, and this one is also equipped with the special executive package, and you can see that when the back seat here has this enlengthenment in the lower leg area, and I'm soon going to show that to you. First of all, Let's move further to this one. This is the middle console you can fold down, and then you can also fold up this like the cup holder thing. Here is also inductive charging pad with cooling function, and this one you can open for USB-C charging. And that's good that it's not like falling down super quickly. Yeah, I like that. I think I had another version where it did. Not quite sure about that. So yeah, that's actually a nice middle console as well. And then here to control everything right here. First of all, I think I would have to put the head restraint up. Let's see about that. So you control, as I said, everything here in these small monitors. Not only for the blinds, also for the seats and so on. I mean, what's also cool that I can at least have a close all or open all. So when I, for example, go for open all, also here this top shade opens. You can see it's a fixed glass roof, and you can have this shade and it rolls in the front. So in the rear you still have headroom. This one here is the optional widescreen for the rear seat entertainment. Also soon more details to that. And of course there's also a shade in the rear, and I can also separately press that here in the monitor, and then we go with the shade in the rear. So that blocks a lot of the sun then out. Then let's take a look at the seat controls right here, adjustment. So the easier thing is, of course, I have one button here actually to set the lounge position. And then you can see this front seat is beginning to move forward. It takes a while, but you can just relax during that, and yeah, maybe like enjoy the high floor mat when you have taken off your shoes, because that will be very crucial at this moment. Very interesting, by the way, I have compared S-Class and 7 Series before. Oh, now the lower part also goes up. And the visibility from the driver's seat to the side mirror here is better possible because the seat goes more forward even for the driver. That's also an interesting aspect. Now you can see here this lower part also has moved up and the whole seat is moving forward. Then this footrest is going up, and here with my size I can very comfortably sit in here, and that's not possible in every executive sedan with my height here. So I even have some more space here for my feet. That's actually quite cool, and wow, that's really super relaxing. And also again with the head restraint, so yeah, that is something I could really enjoy, maybe like either working or then just relaxing when being driven to the next appointment or something. Heads off. Yeah, and then of course there is this screen as well. Once again, you go into this screen here on your right, and you have certain modes, for example, first of all, like theme modes you can pick, and you can also access this Fire TV and then fold down via theater mode. Now everything is going into the theater mode at this effect. All the shades are being closed, that you can better see the screen. So now everything is dark, and I'm waiting for the screen. Please move the front seats forward to ensure that the theater screen is not blocked. Okay, so obviously my driver's seat is not enough in the front. Let's see about that. This is live on Autogefühl, so we don't show you everything just faked and filtered, but live. There we go. Now it folds down. So you have to know about that. Here we go. And then we have the theater screen right there. It's really wide, not that high actually. They say it also fulfills all the safety regulations. And there we go. We have different apps. You can watch Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube as well, Disney Plus and so on. It's not meant that you plug in your own device or something. They really go via these ones here. And of course, you always have to have an online connection to be able to see something actually. And here, remotely at the Portuguese coast, no Wi-Fi at this moment, or no signal. Does it frunk or not? Under the hood, no, there's no frunk, but yeah, I mean, at least you get this massive, beautiful M engine cover. Of course, it doesn't cover an engine. Let's check out the trunk or the boot. And also interesting here, what happens to the turning indicators or hazard lights when you open the trunk? Inside off, but then the outside stays alive. Interesting, right? 500 liters, so a little bit less than with the combustion engine version. Still fits all the luggage. And underneath you have storage for the cable. The width is limited, just like 80 centimeters or 31 inches between the wheel arches. You can have this ski hatch there to load things through, but you cannot fold the seats. And here 110 in meters or 43 inches in length. This is the most powerful version, so let's start with an acceleration. First of all, we go to the sport mode, and beginning from the sport mode, you get some extra torque if you either use the boost shifting pedal, that's also if you're already rolling, or use the launch control. These two things or elements then give you some more extra torque. Then very interesting. Here we start with the launch control, brake with the left foot, and then I hit the throttle with the right foot. Everyone get ready. Let's see about this acceleration of this spaceship. Let's go. Woo! Plop, that's 100. Woo! Whoa, that went really quick. Wow. Whew. Yeah, gets you the adrenaline rushing. And you also heard these iconic sounds here. You can turn them off. They are most prominent in sport mode and also when you really floor it down, when you're more into the normal driving modes and so on, here personal, and you only slightly hit the throttle, you just hear something. But again, you can also completely turn it off if it's maybe annoying to you or something. Here in the sport mode then, a little bit more prominent. It's also of course good for the show effect and so on. Here I love to hit the turning the turning stalk here. It's just giving a very good haptic feedback. This sound chime you heard before now here when I was stopping, that is this stop sign chime. It's a special one to give you a warning for the stop sign. Rear axle steering, you feel really when you're driving slowly that the rear, is like a little bit of like fishtailing. It's not the most natural driving feeling, but it is very agile, and of course it's really good when you ease the car around, maybe like something very narrow, turning circle and so on. So the rear axle steering is a very helpful feature, especially for a vehicle that has such a long wheelbase like this one. I can show that to you right here now. So when I'm just turning right and then when I go back, I'm not sure if I can make that in one turn, and then we can have one more acceleration out. So here we go. Right, and then I directly want to turn left again. And see here, it's easily done then with that rear axle steering. That's actually pretty cool. And we can have one more acceleration out of a little bit of a corner. Let's see about that. Plop, and that's more than 100 already. Again, wow, really impressive and so smooth. At the same time, the acceleration. So I have perfect control over the vehicle. The rear electric motor is the stronger one. That is also the one that has received hardware changes for this very version. So you always have a rear wheel bias, although you have one electric motor per axle. I'm generally a fan of rear wheel drive cars. So when there are rear wheel drive only versions, it's always fun to do that, definitely. Of course, you can just get more traction to the ground, get better acceleration figures here with the all-wheel drive versions. The i7 in general feels lighter than it actually is. It's a large vehicle, it's a lot of weight, but due to the driving dynamics, suspension and so on, it hides a little bit of its weight, I would call it that way. Even if you go some slalom here, then you feel again the rear axle steering is a good steering feel overall. So you have no dead zone area. It is also consistent in its approach in a way. So you always have a good feeling over it, and also the steering is not too large, so that also accounts for the feeling that the car feels smaller than it actually is. Remember also that especially the rear axle steering basically fakes a shorter wheelbase in that feeling respect. Talking about the M70, I have just been driving the i7 for 2 weeks actually, and there's also a review of German Autobahn driving from it and so on. And here, even in the personal mode, I told you earlier, the air suspension has a stiffer setting. At the same time, the air suspension still delivers you a lot of comfort. To me, this is more actually about the wheel size choice. So it is not the largest difference if you have this one here, the M70 or the normal i7. To me, the wheel size makes more of a difference if you want to pick between a sportier or a more comfortable ride. So this vehicle here can really do both. Great comfort, also great seating comfort and so on. At the same time, when you accelerate out of corners, the power is always there and it's such a smooth delivery. At the same time, also so powerful. Does it really make a large difference if you have the M70 or the i7 xDrive, the normal all-wheel drive version? Well, it is this 1 second in the acceleration figure. Of course, here you get some more aggressive look and so on. Yes, the suspension is a little bit stiffer and so on. You got all the sporty features already included with the rear axis steering and also the anti-tilt control, so the car really always stays upright. But I wouldn't say it feels like a completely different vehicle. So this one here, where you want to go top of the line and don't really care about the money aspect, but a normal i7 will do fine. And even the base version of the i7 already delivers you more or less the same driving feeling. So slight nuances that are changed here in the driving habit to make it even a little bit sportier, that you feel this top of the line model. So you have a little bit less of floaty comfort driving feeling, but some more spice of sportiness than here with the M70 version. And one more motorway acceleration from 50 to 120. Let's go. Plop, that's it. So quick, so quick. Wow. Recuperation, by the way, usually works in this adaptive way. That means in here there's nothing in front of us, everything is running free. Then we're just rolling, huh? And when there would be a car in front of us, then there is adaptive recuperation like a adaptive cruise control. But you can also pull this shifting lever back, then you are in the B mode, and then immediately strong recuperation, and then you have this one pedal driving feeling. Assistance systems. Oh, now I hit the boost pedal. Yeah, that you can see you have 10 seconds of extra torque basically. So here the adaptive cruise control set here on the left side of the steering wheel, and also have an active lane keeping assist. So here it is meant that you keep your hands on the steering wheel like this. It's also traffic sign recognition. So here we go. Very smooth process. So I think very elaborated assistance systems. And there's also an automatic lane change possible. So let's see here. There we go. I initiated it myself with this indicator stalk. And there we go. So I did not do that myself. The car basically did that to me. So, and one time. There we go. The next step we will soon see in our review of the new BMW 5 Series will be that you do not even have to do that, but just take a look actually in the side mirror. Already got some previews on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube Shorts for you. By the way, also subscribe to our YouTube Shorts channel, to Thomas Let's Go YouTube Shorts channel. I'll also link it in the video description and the pinned comment. And there we can also see this next evolutionary step of this assistance system. Overall here on the motorway, so silent, such a, I always call it sovereign ride. You feel like you're basically king of the road. Everything is smooth and comfortable. Bumps, no problem at all. At the same time, super silent, great noise insulation. So as for long-term comfort, there's hardly anything that is better. And we also had it with the i7 recently on the German Autobahn, the motorway. And last thing to check for today is, of course, the energy economy. Can't say fuel economy. So I also did a reset actually, and then see what we can score here, if that will be somewhat similar to the normal i7 or it will be a little bit more. Of course here you tend to use a little bit more of the power, but it more really depends if you're using that throttle or accelerator pedal or not. Consumption test, we scored some 24 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. That's 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Indeed, a little bit thirstier, if we can say that, for EVs than the normal i7 xDrive version, where we had some 21 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is some 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So, whereas with the other one, we had more like 500 kilometers, 300 miles of range. Here, more like 430 kilometers, 270 miles. So, by this performance, electric rear motor and so on, of course, you drive this car a little bit different also. You do lose some range. However, you can never one-to-one compare these, these range tests, because it's always a little bit different. Here, for example, we had the AC a little bit stronger running and so on. So, but definitely there will be some small differences between this performance version and the other ones. But more, of course, you always control with the environment, temperature outside, and how much you push the throttle and so on. And now the chauffeur driving part here. Michel has taken the driver's seat, so he's driving me now. Yeah, very kind of him, isn't he? So yeah, it's really comfortable here also in the normal position. Interesting is definitely when you are at lower speeds, then you also feel the rear axis even more as a passenger. Here at, like he's driving at 80 kilometers an hour now, like 50 miles an hour, then you also don't feel something from the rear axis steering. Here indeed with large wheels and that stiffer air suspension setup, I think as a rear passenger, you feel more difference here in the M70. So when you go chauffeur driving here, being in the rear, then I would rather say go for a base i7 and enjoy a little bit more comfort. And also put a little bit smaller wheels on there, that you have more dampening from the tire and so on. So it's still super comfortable, but just in comparison, I think for rear passengers, the sporty setup of this one here makes a little bit more different. Oh, I feel that Michel has a lot of fun in driving, right? It's like, I thought, oh, he's taking it step by step here, driving this large vehicle. No, he's really attacking the road already. Michel, way to go. As for the controls here, it's very interesting. Well, I said earlier here with the shades, when I want to open the window, then here the shade automatically lowers. But to pull it up again, I cannot pull the window lever, and then you have to go to the screen and then select sun blind and then raise it up again. And to me, not the very logical thing, definitely. We have to go straight further. Yeah. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
And then, I also want to show you here when I'm controlling this comfort seat while driving. So hitting that one, the way I can also pull down this one here, and also have better armrest here. So, and then it takes some time here. I love that high floor mat also while driving. So this to me pretty much the coolest thing, and also while driving, that you can stretch your legs out and then can just relax. By the way, as a driver, you need to sit a little bit more behind, that you can still see the side mirror, but it's at least possible. Now Michel is a little bit, not as tall as me, so I'm not sure. How is it? Can you still see the side mirror, Michel?
I can, yeah.
But not like the entire one, or just a little bit?
I would say 95%.
95?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonably good. Yeah, and then I can make myself comfortable here. Wow, that's such a great driving experience here. And I mean, at some point, of course, you could also argue when you have a sportier setup that maybe also with the anti-tilt control, G-forces are maybe evened out. You can argue pro and con for that. But I would rather have it a little bit softer here in the rear, I think. But anti-tilt control probably is a good idea. Yeah, at this moment, I think hardly gets better than that as for the rear chauffeur driving experience. Do you still need some Rolls-Royce or Bentley for that one? I would say no, and especially considering the BMW has better things to offer actually than Rolls-Royce. The only thing you get there is that you pay more money. Just can say that in that way. Well, if you want to see more of the i7 content, recently i7 Autobahn experience, or you can also check out our Mercedes EQS AMG review.